Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Catfish Weekly. I am your host, Chad, and I've got these other two clowns that are going to be my co-host tonight. We've got Josh from the Weekend Angler. Wait a minute. Josh, wait, you're in my spot. And we've got, as always, the Honorable Lyle Stokes. There's going to be a battle. Josh now has power, and he's in my spot. All right. Gentlemen, nice to see you too. Tonight's guest, we've got Josh Fuller. Welcome. Josh is, make sure I say this right, is the administrator for the Wren Lake Catfishing Group on Facebook.
Yes.
Well, welcome to Catfish Weekly, sir.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Lyle, do you have any tournament results this week?
Let me check, but I don't believe anybody sent me any this week. I do not have any.
All right. Well, so remember, we're always willing to shout out your tournament results. Just got to send them in. Normally, we at least get one a week, but we had I don't know if we want to talk about this past weekend's tournament results, but Josh didn't even come close to second place. So.
Nope. No, we were struggling for every fish we got this weekend. So
it's all right. Well, that tournament's not completely over. We'll be back next weekend and see what the final results are in that, and we'll go over that. Josh, what do you say we say hi to people in chat?
That sounds like a plan. Let's see what we got here. We've got Mr. Creole Catfishing. Got David Smith, Double Hook Angling, Fishing with Squirrel, Chris from Hooks and Hammocks. We've got the always friendly and fun-loving James Dockery Fishing. We've got
Mark.
We're
going to lie on screen.
Got Mark Barnum. My buddy Maurice Cason is in here, as well as Mike Irvin. We've got Parker Pursuits, who did have a good day during your tournament yesterday. We've got James Smith from Patriot Catfishers of America, Mr. Sean Abney, Valerie Irvin, QC Fishing. Go back and see if I've missed anybody here. Fishing with Squirrel. I think I may have everybody so far. Fishing Local 252 has made it in, as well as Terry Johnson. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight. 43 people watching already. Please take a moment and hit that thumbs up button. Help us in the YouTube algorithm to get it out there in front of people so they see the show.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Joe Buck 66 has joined us.
Maurice Cason.
I was waiting to see if Josh skipped over my buddy Maurice Cason.
I did not skip over my buddy Maurice Cason.
Troy from Real and Virtual Outdoors. What's going on, friend? Squirrel. Mr. Parker Pursuits. I think you've gotten everybody else that I've seen in here. So we won't dwell. We'll say hi to people. Oh, wait a minute. Freddie's Outdoor Adventures and saying hi, Chad.
Freddie, yep. Freddie the Saboteur is
Saboteur. I wasn't even going to bring up the fact that he tried to sabotage the show Sunday. I was going to wait to confront him on Thursday night.
Yeah. I will bring it up. There's Mikey Greenwell has joined us in here. I disappointed Mike yesterday. He said so in the chat.
It's because you've turned into quite the dragger.
Mikey was disappointed that he saw me out there dragging baits and pulling planer boards. So
I do have something to announce, though.
I'll go right ahead.
That's watching, and the membership where you can join down below. There's going to be some giveaways come up for members only. So be sure to be watching for that.
I've seen that one of your biggest and greatest supporters had made a comment. They have been a member for 18 months, and they said that Chad guy is my favorite on this show.
I did not say that.
No, No, it was. It doesn't show up in the StreamYard chat, but I seen it over here on YouTube.
It too.
Yep, long time member, 18 months, and that is fishing with the Chad.
I also would like to mention that Mark with Catfish and Crappie will not be going live after us tonight. Something's come up and he's not going to be able to go fishing. He had planned on doing a live fishing show, and he will not be doing that this evening.
Yeah.
There's Terra Fishing. And Cindy has made it in.
Well, now we can get started.
That's right.
Oh, and Chrissy Brown. All right. Well, Josh, welcome to the show. It was brought to our attention that Josh Dunnigan had, I think he may be playing favorites because Josh went in and fished a tournament and won. And I don't know if there's some underhand dealings going on here, but he said, this Josh Fuller guy, you have got to get him on the show. And we was like, okay. So Josh Dunnigan, the second favorite show. What intrigued you to have Josh come on the show with us tonight?
One of the things that I really thought of was, to my knowledge, this was Josh's first time organizing and directing a tournament. And really, Christina and I both thought that he knocked it out of the park. Just on his first go round here, everything was set up good. It was organized. There were things in place to make sure that the fish were coming out, being weighed, and they weren't spending more than 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute out of the water getting weighed, and they were back into live well and getting carted back to the lake. So they were, we weren't trailering them all over. We weren't beating the heck out of the fish. And it just kind of made me think, there's been a few times I've thought about trying to get a tournament going. It's been intimidating for me, and I haven't even tried to do it. And here was somebody that just showed that you can do it. Just go, if you decide you're going to do it. So.
Yeah, I've actually had that same thought. There's quite a few clubs around here that do tournaments, but there's none represented from the Northern Kentucky side. I've thought about it as well. So when you brought this up, I thought it would be pretty cool too to bring Josh in and say, what was your thought method going into getting a tournament going, organizing it? I know Lyle's probably got a long history of this. I know he has put together and helped work a lot of tournaments, but
I probably wrote rules for 90% of the tournaments that's going right now. And of course, I give them a starting point and then they amend them from there. But there's a core base of things that should and shouldn't be in rules, and you go from there, and different areas and different places amend them to suit their needs. People ask me my opinion, I give it to them. What they do with it from that point on is up to them.
Fair and valid. All right, Mr. Fuller, what says you about getting this thing going?
Well, I will start with the Facebook page. I actually started it a little over a year ago. There just was not a catfishing page for Rend Lake. So I was just fishing one day and bored, and I started it, and it really didn't do anything for about, 6 or 7 months, and then it started kind of taking off. I got like 1,500 members probably. Well, then somebody actually recommended that I needed to have a catfish tournament. It wasn't something I had ever considered, but a bunch of people joined in on the thought. So I decided to go for it. And I fished a few tournaments myself, so I had a general idea of what I needed to do. And I was really paying attention to the tournaments I was going to and every aspect of them, trying to learn as much as I could. But it really was not complicated to put together. The permits I had to get a permit from the DNR. It was free. It only took a couple minutes to fill out, and they had it approved, I think, within 24 hours. And then I had to get a permit from the Corps of Engineers because we used the Corps of Engineers boat ramp.
Right.
So I also had to go through them, and that permit was also free. It took a while to get it all said and done because I ended up having to get insurance. The insurance was probably the most difficult thing I had to get as far as finding somebody that covered a fishing tournament.
Really?
Yeah, I think I had about 6 hours on the phone with insurance companies, and they would think that they could cover me, and then they'd call me back and say, "Oh, well, you found out we don't cover that." So I finally did find a place, and I believe it was $274 for that tournament. So it was a little higher than I would have liked it to be. But
you had been raring to go. I heard free, and now all of a sudden insurance.
yeah. Now the insurance, and I was caught off guard by it too. But it wasn't that big a deal. Actually, since the tournament, I think I have a company that's willing to sponsor it next time and pay the insurance.
Nice, very nice.
Now, prior to the tournament, most tournaments give away prizes and have giveaways. And I contacted so many companies, and I never got a thing. So I have to learn how to talk to people, I guess. But I never got anything. So, but now that it's said and done, there's more people interested in helping me with it. So I think in the future it'll get a lot better.
That could have been maybe a startup thing too. I mean,
yeah,
getting it going, that might help.
Have to be established.
Yeah.
But it went good. I think people were impressed with it, and I do believe it will grow. It was tough trying to guess how many people were going to be there. That made it harder than anything because every boat ramp holds a different amount of boats, has limited parking. And I was trying to be considerate of the smaller boats. I didn't want to put them out on the main part of the lake and the white caps and everything else. So I had to be pretty strategic with my choice of ramp. And the Corps of Engineers actually helped me with some advice on that. So the ramp we used was a big cove with a bunch of fingers off of it where the smaller boats had options. They didn't have to go out in the big part of the lake. But had I known how many people were definitely going to be there, I would have went to a different ramp in a different part of the lake. But I think the ramp I picked would hold 100 boats if that's how many wanted to come.
Wow.
So I went with the biggest I could get just in case. So I didn't want to turn anybody away.
Absolutely.
But you don't know how many people are going to show up. The weather changes it. Yeah, it's hard to pre-plan something. So overall, the weather was good. I couldn't have asked for it to go any better, really.
Cool. Well, we'll back you up just a little bit. Just starting out. So you said you had to go through the DNR and then the Corps of Engineers. How did you know who to go to?
The other guys around my area that have ran tournaments helped me out a lot getting that started. I pretty much contacted them and they told me where to go. I think I talked to 4 people in total that ran their own tournaments, and every one of them helped me out, I think, the best they could. So there's no shortage of help in the as far as running the tournament, you know.
Yeah.
Now did they having never dealt with the DNR on this, did they, but knowing how Illinois likes to make things as difficult as they can, was the permit application, was that something you were able to do online, or was that something you had to call them and get, or?
It was online. It was really simple. But if you use one of their ramps, you know, I didn't look into it on all the new policies on it, but I knew they want 10%.
Oh yeah, Illinois takes their 10% if you use a DNR ramp now. So
yeah. So I actually thought I was beating the system, and then had to pay insurance, so I lost. But I didn't win. But as long as, you know, I do get a sponsor and some help with it, that shouldn't be a problem to do again, and it should go much smoother. The Corps of Engineers, we had a lot of back and forth trying to get stuff together. So if you do a raffle, that's a whole separate permit you've got to get. Depending on how many boats you have is a different permit. And then the insurance. I had to get an insurance policy for me and them. I think I was required $1 million.
Okay.
Coverage for me and them. I don't know if everywhere is that way, you know, other states or what, but that was I would like to see it different on the parking. Like if you're fishing the tournament, you wouldn't have to pay the parking permit, you know, find a way to include that possibly.
Right.
I know it's not a big deal. It's $5, but to some people, $5 makes a difference.
Yep. I mean, heck, it's a gallon of gas, but I can tell you that Uncle Sam is going to get theirs. So,
yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get it one way or the other. I mean, we typically, when we launch at Rend, we usually use Sailboat Harbor. You know, it's a fairly nice ramp and it's free. But you know, the core ramps are probably some of the most maintained ramps on that lake. So
I think you get an annual pass. I think it's $40 for the year, and it's the way it reads. I think anywhere in the country, as long as you have that,
that's been my understanding on it.
It's nationwide, and I might add, once you reach retirement age of 65, you don't have to buy those anymore.
Oh. Well, that gives me something to look forward to do.
Yeah, something to look forward to. And for handicapped folks, if someone in your family is handicapped that's fishing with you, that also you can get a permit from them where you don't have to pay that also.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Well, that's the way it is in Missouri. Corps engineers should be everywhere. Nationwide should be the same. So
yeah.
Well, it's good for Christina to know because she could file for Josh.
Mentally.
And now that we have that taken care of.
Yes, that's right. Put me back in my rightful spot. So we're going to kind of bring Lyle into the mix of there. So talking about, Josh made a good point. We're looking at it from Red Lake and what Josh had to go through to get this started. He's had, 2 different permits, the insurance, right, all that kind of stuff. Have you noticed some similarities there, Lyle, with the states that you've worked with of helping people set those up?
Yeah, it's basically the same. Corps of Engineers, if you're using their ramps, you got to have a permit from them. If it's a conservation ramp in the state of Missouri, you got to go through the Missouri Department of Conservation. A lot of times, if you're in a municipal area, like in the city limits of a town, some of them require permits. You just have to check out all that stuff, but you want to make sure that you get those permits, because I'll never forget, we done one in Iowa one time, and the guy that had me come up there said, you don't have to have a permit. They have tournaments up here all the time. Okay, so I didn't get one. I got up there, and the day before the tournament, here comes the Department of Conservation or whoever they have in Iowa, and he says, you could have bought that for $50. Now it's going to be $200, and if you don't buy it, then we're going to go ahead, and everybody that enters the tournament that launches a boat will get a fine.
Oh, wow.
So we had to pay the $200 instead of the 45 or 50, whatever it was going to be beforehand, because I listened to a guy that supposedly knew what he's talking about and didn't, but that never happened again, ever.
That's one of them things that I like to tell people to trust but verify.
Yeah, well,
So
I took him at his word. He said, "I know the conservation agent. It's not a problem." It was a problem.
it was a problem.
You have to check out everything, and regatta permits is what we get from Department of Conservation here in Missouri, and like I say, they don't really charge you for them. They're not hard to get. You just fill out the paperwork, and unless they have another event that day at that ramp, they'll just send them to you. And I'm sure it's that way most places. But yeah, and as far as insurance, you got to have that. You have to have it to protect yourself. And I'm thinking back in the days that when we done, it was like $1,800 a year for. We was doing at least one tournament a month, some months more than one, but I think it ran us $1,800 a year.
No.
And then guys wonder why you keep out a percentage of the money. Well, that's part of the reason right there, because it costs you. It costs money. You can't take that kind of money out of your hip pocket and do that every year. You just have to pay for it through the tournament entries.
I mean, most people that are putting those, especially the local club tournaments, are fishing it too, and they're the same as all of us. They're working their 9 to 5, 40 to 80 hours a week, and they can't afford it either. It's not like we have that.
That's another thing.
Money.
Once you run a few tournaments and you get a few under your belt, and your crowd gets big and your entries get big, you might as well stop pitching them, because you're leaving out an hour, half hour to an hour after everybody else is already fishing. And then you got to come in that much early to get everything set up and get ready to go. So you're giving them 2 hours of fishing time.
Yeah, but when you're as good as I am, you can give that lead, so it doesn't matter. You're still not.
He's going to blame me for that.
I'm still in it to win it. That's all that matters. So, John, what other kind of equipment? So you talked to the engineers and the NDR, DNR, and all that sort of thing. Got that straightened out. You got your insurance. Obviously, getting word out about having a tournament. You're using your Facebook page, which has already been established, right? And they've been asking you to do this. So, what's next? What else do you need to get your tournament going? Scales or whatever.
I did have to buy scales, laundry baskets, all the. Overall, I think I had $150 and other things I had to buy. The scale I just ordered off of Amazon. It was just a postage scale that I really hoped was waterproof once we got started.
It's definitely something to think about.
Something to think about that I didn't think about until it was covered in water. But it worked. It held up. I think the scale was $40, something like that. That was the most expensive thing I had to buy. Like I said, a few laundry baskets. What's that?
If you're having a payout of money, the law says they must be legal for trade scales, and postage stamp scales are not legal for trade.
Really?
I hate to bring that to you like that, but about the cheapest legal for trade scales that I know of is around $700-800.
Really?
Yeah, and that's you might check with your state. In Missouri, it's run through the agriculture department. But anytime money's exchanged changes hands, that is a requirement. I think pretty much everywhere. But I used those kind of scales for years because I didn't know that, and they're just as accurate. You can have them checked by the people, and they'll come and put a sticker on them scales every year. If they're the right ones, they'll check them once a year, and they'll put an agriculture department sticker on there. And that way, it's the same people that checks the gas pumps to make sure they pump a full gallon of gas when you buy gas. They'll put
I don't trust them now.
Pardon me?
I said now I don't trust them people.
Well, I'm just telling you to keep you from getting in trouble. But you check in on that. But I'm sure that's the way it is everywhere. But I had a set that went bad. I went to get them repaired, and it was nearly going to cost as much to repair them as what a new set would cost. And I said, hell, just keep them, and maybe you can use some parts out of it to fix somebody else's, because I am not spending $600 to repair a set of $750 scales. I'm just not going to do it.
No, I can't blame you there. I never would have thought about that. It makes sense what you're saying.
Well, that's the way the laws read, and like I say, if money's not exchanging hands, it doesn't make any difference. And that's why so many of these scales that you see that people hold in their hands, they're not legal for trade. I don't know how FLW gets away with that, or whoever does major league fishing, because those scales are not legal for trade.
Right.
And them guys are winning money.
They're winning big money.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the greatest formats in fishing today. But you should check your laws. I'm not telling you that you can't do it. I'm not, because like I say, I've done it for years, didn't know the difference. And they may or may not, if you play dumb, they may or may not do anything to you if you get caught. If nobody says anything, you probably won't.
Mm-hmm.
But I know how the laws are, and anytime I can prevent somebody from getting in trouble, I'm going to.
Yeah.
What I've seen, it's the scales Josh was using pretty well on par with what just about everybody else is using around here. So.
I had them scales, both sets of scales, in case I kept the postage scales for a backup in case the others would not work. And when the lady come and checked my others to put the sticker on them, she would check those, and they was just as accurate within ounces of what the others was.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not say legal for trade.
Legal for trade.
She couldn't put a sticker on.
That's weird.
But it was just as accurate.
Another good thing to know, though, just to keep in mind. I mean, like you said, those, FLW and bass, the walleye tournament one. Whoa, we don't want that. We don't want that. I don't know who did that, but
that was not me.
That was definitely something the folks at home did not want to see. Me come flying up in their face like that. But I've heard that those scales are, very accurate down to the 8-ounce weight. So
yeah, I heard
most of the scales are. I mean, we were measuring letters.
Yeah.
Come on, how much?
Yeah.
I think that's a borderline call for whoever's checking you, but I do know how the laws are. So, like I say, I just try to prevent people from getting in trouble.
Just do like I do with everything and play stupid.
Yeah.
So Parker's saying, during hot weather, how do you keep everyone cycle through quickly, weighing fish to keep fish healthy? So obviously, we try to preach, the health of the fish and that sort of thing. So I'm not sure how many boats that you had, but making sure that people are getting through, keeping the fish healthy.
I did. This tournament was towards the end of September, so it really wasn't hot. But during the summer, in the heat, you've just got to go fast. I mean, you're moving as fast as you can, trying to get them boats through. A lot of the tournaments I fish in the heat of the summer actually switch over to night tournaments. They'll be from 7 p.m. to 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. And that helps a lot. It's really just speed, how fast you can go and what kind of equipment these guys have in their live wells. And you can't get everybody to get everything they need, for the fish, the aerators and everything. But my part is just going fast, as smooth and quick as I can. But the layout of the parking lot had a lot to do with that. I needed to get it where everybody could get in the line, everybody could get their boats out of the water, get lined up, and then it wasn't jam-packed for people to go back to the boat ramp and put their fish back. And I also, in order to put your fish back in the state of Illinois, you're not allowed to leave the parking lot with the fish. So that was something that you have to have the right layout of the parking lot, was just as important as the boat ramps themselves.
Really?
So, yeah, I drove around to every boat ramp on Wren Lake. I tried to picture it where I could set my table up, my scale, And what I did really worked out. I felt like I pre-planned good, and
yeah, we were expecting. I mean, I'd gone ahead and thrown the tournament bag in the boat. You know, I was kind of picturing a bass style weigh-in where you're going to throw all 5 fish in the weigh bag and put water in there and cart it up to, you know, stand in the line. And that's, you know, of course, it's horrible for the fish to be in that bag and that little amount of water getting hot. But it was a good surprise when we got up there and saw you already had the line set up. Those fish were in the live well until we were right in front of your scales.
yes,
Reach in, grab them out, and they went in a laundry basket and came right back, and they were back down there swimming in the aerator. So
yeah, I would say it was less than a minute on every
Hmm.
way I did.
That's pretty good.
That goes back to I've been paying attention. I've seen other tournaments' flaws and things that they do good, and I've tried to learn. You just got to experience it. You just got to jump in and do it to know what it's like. That's all I know. I'm just an ordinary fisherman. Nobody special. I'm not a guide. I'm not anything. I'm just a guy that took a chance on it, and I think it's something I'm going to do again in the future.
It sounds to me like
I don't plan to gain anything from it. I'm not trying to profit from it. It's just good to get people fishing. It gives you a reason to go fishing, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
I catch myself only fishing tournaments a lot. I'm like, I haven't even been fishing in a month, but now a tournament's coming up, so I've got to go fishing.
Oh yeah,
you all got me so gun shy that I thought I got kicked off the screen again.
Dad kicked himself off. So
yeah, I was like, what I do now?
But you know, that's one of the things about the smaller tournaments. I like the smaller tournaments.
Yes.
And it's because everybody down there, before we blasted off at 7 a.m., everybody down there was sitting around talking. You could look over and see what the next guy was, you'll probably have what he was going to do because his rods were sitting in the rod holders ready to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all talking techniques and everything else. Nobody's hiding anything. I mean, we all had what we were going to do and we knew where we were going to do it at, but people were sharing information, shooting the bull, asking questions, and
generally people who fish catfish tournaments they're really good people.
Oh, definitely. They're
the better class of people I go around, you know, always willing to help, and just a different group of people.
We have fished some small bass tournaments that were completely the opposite end of the spectrum, you know, where it's everybody's, you know, your rods are in the rod locker till you get where you're going to fish. Cause you know, somebody might see one bait that I might have tied on and win the whole thing, you know, it just be so secretive, but you know, you're going to have a little bit of that regardless because you're, you know, you are having a competition, but let's see.
Yeah. There's always going to be a little bit of a tension somewhere, but I didn't deal with any problems during mine, so
I didn't notice anybody with you know, anybody getting bent out of shape over anything. Everybody was having a good time at weigh in and everything else. So
yeah, I don't know how I'd handle a bunch of 8-ounce weights in a fish, but
let's hope we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's one thing I hope I never have to experience. I can only imagine what that was like.
I would have probably been in a lot of trouble because I would have done unto others as they have done to thy fish. And, yeah. So this is pretty kind of interesting, you know, like kind of a different thought on the tournament. The local tournament where Mark's at has a virtual app for people who weigh in, and the app automatically called the live well for the people. Now, I know there's apps out there. Josh and I have talked about this before. That wouldn't be my end all on a tournament that's a live person, right? Because my whisker seeker scale might be different than the quantum whatever scale that Josh is using by ounces, or who knows, maybe even a pound or so on something.
Yeah. I mean, you turn the screw in there, I can turn that thing up however high I want to turn it up.
Using the app, like what we talked about, to keep track of the fish that you've caught.
Oh, that culling app we were using that day, and that we use when we tournament fish, that culling app is awesome. And I want to say that thing's less than $5. That's just a great app, and you throw your color, your color for your cull tag on there, and put your fish weight, and whenever you get your 5 in, or however you could set however many your weigh bag is, you get to the point that the app knows you're ready to start culling. It will highlight your next fish, which one goes next time.
Yeah.
And so that made it easy for us, because we just had extra cull tags, and we'll pull the white cull tag out, take it off, and throw it back in the pile, toss that fish back in the lake, and the next fish gets a black cull tag. We'll just hit it and change it in the app, whatever color we're using. And I wish we'd had better cull tags that day, because we were having trouble with them. But aside from that, it worked pretty good.
Nice. So Autumn McCormick says, Josh B., how much was your weight in his tournament? So what was the winning weight that Josh Dunnigan?
I was seeing the Josh B. I was trying to find out.
I think maybe your new name is Bunnigan.
It was 23 something. 23.3 sound right?
Yeah, 23.3, 23.2, something like that.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Let me just.
It was a channel cat basically tournament, right? Maybe Red Lake
flathead. We had one flathead weighed in, but it only weighed 6 something. But Josh was actually the last boat that came in, so.
Yeah, I didn't make it the way in. Sorry.
Everybody's hopes are up whenever they're in first place, and then the last boat comes in and ruins everybody's day and wins.
Yeah, well, ours was 23.3. The second place team, they also had big fish at 9.3. They had 20.7. Third ended at 20.5. So you're not looking a big difference between any of the top three there. The name of the app is Easy Culling. Let me find it here real quick, and I will drop a link in chat.
Cool. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too, because I think a lot of us tournament guys, there's different kinds of culling techniques. There's the clip-on poles that you have. Some of them have the numbers on the end of them with the ball that floats and stuff like that. They're all color coordinated. Some of them have the ones that go through the mouth and all that kind of stuff. So
I just
kind of cool way to
clip and a little whiteboard. You just gotta keep track. But it would be easier on the app, so it's showing you. It keeps it organized for you, so you're not moving stuff around. And
yeah, I've dropped the link for that app, but it's available on Android or Apple. So.
It probably works better on Android, though.
Android works better anyway. So
true.
I know somebody wouldn't agree with that.
That's all right.
By the way, speaking of that, Mark of Catfish and Crappie, don't forget, will not be doing a show after we're done tonight. Something has come up, and he had planned on going fishing live, but something happened, and he's not going to be able to do that. Want to make sure everybody is aware of that, not expecting him to be there.
But if somebody wanted to get their mark fixed, they could go to his channel and watch videos.
Yeah.
You can definitely go over to Mark from Catfish and Crappie, who is normally on at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and get your Catfish and Crappie fix on. But anyway.
You can just listen to us.
Or you can just listen to us. We prefer that. But we also prefer that you hit that thumbs up. So greatly appreciate anybody and everybody that is in here. We've got about 70 people watching right now and about 43 thumbs up. I would love to see that number skyrocket to be at least close, if not match, or go over what we got in the chat right now. So
Sean T.
It's not for Lyle, if not for Josh or other Josh. Do it for me. Please.
Sean T says he likes the fish that get heavier in the live wells.
Better walleye fish.
I did see over the weekend whenever I saw Chris Flores had on Facebook, he was selling lead ingots out there at CatCon, and they were $2 a pound, or he had what was it? Walleye bait was $50 a pound.
He's kind of been on them guys for a while.
Just a little bit, but they need it.
Hey, I agree. I agree.
Were
you choking yourself?
My neck is.
I thought maybe you had a sinker stuck.
Yeah.
So Josh, did anything not go as planned that day?
I'm going to add on to that before you answer, since we're on the part about disqualifying, and Uncle Jeep needs his bacon conversation fixed. Did you have to, disqualify anybody for the use of bacon as bait? Go ahead, sir.
No, I didn't.
That's good.
I wouldn't have thought. I've never seen anybody use bacon. That's what got me flustered for a second.
I don't blame you.
Maybe it works. I don't know. But no, I didn't have any problems with anybody. Everybody was really good. But I did only have 13 boats. So for my first time, I think that worked out really good for me because I was able to learn with a small amount.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, I'd like for them to throw 50 boats at me and go from there. I'm not nervous. I'm totally confident in myself now. After that first one, I'm ready to continue on. Now, as far as things that didn't go the way I planned, was that I used the boat ramp I did and only had 13 boats show up. I used a ramp that I would have rather not used because it was capable of holding 100 boats, but then only had 13 show up, and I would have went somewhere. I don't fish that into the lake, so
I don't either.
So I hated to send a bunch of people down there because I know nobody really fishes down there. But if 100 people showed up, I wanted 100 people to be able to go.
Yeah.
So in the future, I would like to find an alternative ramp, but I'm still in the situation every ramp only holds so many boats. So now maybe if you did like a pre-registration, which that was something I wasn't able to do because of the time frame, a pre-registration may help with that. You get an idea of how many people really plan on coming. But that's,
of course, the weather can change, and you and I both know familiar enough with Wren Lake that you get the right south wind or north wind, and that lake can get treacherous in a hurry. And you don't want to have a smaller boat out on that lake during the wind. So
absolutely not. And that was actually another big concern. At what point obviously it didn't happen, but what point would I make the decision that we're not going to have this tournament due to weather? And like I said, I didn't experience it, but that was something I was nervous about the entire time. At what point am I responsible for your safety? And that's something that I took a lot of pride in. That is my responsibility. Absolutely. In the future, I'm sure I will run into it. But you got people in 24-foot boats that can go anywhere they want to go, and then you got your 14-foot John boats that they really have no business being there, but they're there to fish and try to win some money.
Hey, I can tell you that some of them boys in them little 14-foot John boats,
that's the ones you got to worry about.
That's where I started.
Honey badgers. Because I've been in the middle of getting ready to take off in a 200-boat takeoff tournament and look over, and there's one that's in about a 1.5 2 foot wide little John boat that's about 12, 14 foot long in the middle of all these sea arcs and everything else under the sun that's got 200, 300 horsepower motors. And I'm like, that guy's going to die.
And
Yeah.
that's the guy.
And he's
That's the guy to bring a 70 back to the scale too.
Yeah, he's the one with the little tiller motor with a handle, and he's like, going down the river, chopping it up. I'm just like, you got bigger cahooties than I ever thought about it. I ain't no way I'd be out there in the middle of that. They don't care.
No.
Well, I would, as the tournament director, I would feel 100% responsible if something happened to somebody out there, just due to me not saying it's over or we're not having it today. Which they do on the permits. They do give you the option. You can do it for 2 days. So if I have my tournament scheduled for a Sunday, I can go ahead and do all the paperwork, or for a Saturday, I can do all the paperwork for Sunday also. And the entrance was also the same way. I could do one of 2 days.
Oh, okay.
So that's something I'm going to do now. I'll schedule it for a Saturday, but also do the Sunday. And if the weather's bad, we'll be able to still do it the next day.
That's awesome that you're willing to do that, because I can tell you, my buddy Heath and I, about 10 years ago, fished a bass tournament, and I called the tournament director the day before the tournament because it was going to be stormy. And I asked him, I said, hey, before we head down there, what's going to be your policy on this? He's like, oh, we're going to play it by ear, but we're probably still going to go. I said, all right. So we got up, we're starting to get ready about 3:30 in the morning to get down there for this tournament. It's pouring down rain. It's lightning everywhere. And, I hated to call the guy that early in the morning, but I said, it's better than going down here. I called him. He's like, no, we're still having it. So we're out fishing this tournament on the south end of Lake Egypt. And my buddy had his little portable weather radio with him that day. And that weather radio went off for a tornado warning down there at the end of the lake that we were at. So, of course, we rocket back up to the north end of the lake, get away from that tornado. We never did see it. It may not have actually been one. You know how tornado warnings are. But the fact that he's running a tournament out there and there's tornado warnings out, my buddy's dad liked to strung us both up whenever we got home from, we got back from that tournament. He's like, what were you boys thinking? I said, we thinking we might win some money. We didn't weigh a single fish that day. So
one of the things that happens a lot of times is I was always worried about it. If there was a question that somebody was going to get injured, I would call a tournament off. And invariably, I would get called everything in the book that you ain't supposed to be, because guys want to fish.
Yeah.
But my outlook always was, I got to live with it, and the safety of those guys is more important to me. We would try to call it off a day or two beforehand if we could, but I have called them off the day of, and people travel to get there, and I'm sorry, but, I'm not going to have that on my conscience. And some of them got mad, never come back. Most of them understood, but you're always going to have one or two that does not, especially in big crowds for big money.
Well, I think, my opinion, that's the way, if you're going to host these kind of things, one, typically, you're very familiar with that water. So what different things, wind variations, current in rivers and stuff like that, what that does to your body of water. And I do feel that you're responsible for people's safety to a point, right?
Yes.
Obviously, if it's a clear day or whatever, and they get out there and are doing something they shouldn't be, and they get in trouble, that's on them. But to send them out knowingly into upriver 30-mile-an-hour winds on a lake like, say
Wheeler,
Wilson, that sort of thing, absolutely not. And I mean, I think you do bear responsibility in that kind of things, no matter who it is that is going out there that thinks they're invincible and wants to fish. We all want to fish. We're going to the water. We're committed, but is your safety is yours or their safety worth it? Letting them ride. So I think you have one under your belt, and you already sound like a seasoned vet in what you're doing and what what you're saying. So I like it.
Oh, we'll see what the future holds. I'm hoping to have a lot more support next year, and for
I'm sure you will.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try to get more organizations involved, and I feel like that could help a lot. We talked about, Josh talked to me about getting the, was it the AMVETs we talked about?
Time him out. Sorry, I got distracted with the ooey gooey bar donation.
Who was it? That was. Oh shoot! It was the Marine Corvettes used to have one in the spring, and they've kind of pulled away from it. But I think a lot of those guys that were fishing that and whatnot would like to see, would like to come back.
Yeah, I would like to get more things like that involved. I want to do. I have 5 kids, and I would like to do more for kids. I would like to put together just a kids fishing tournament, just a fun fishing tournament,
That'd be cool.
But it's all, a learning process. And
well, I think now that you got that one on your belt, like you said, consistency, I think, will be a part of what you're doing. As far as don't have the one this year in September and then turn around and say, well, this year is going to be in March, right?
Yeah.
You're going to do every couple months, or you're going to make a theme, something like that. That gives you time to get the word out. You've got over 1,500 people and growing. I've already seen a request on Facebook to join Red Lake fishing from people in chat. We've got that in the description if you want to go check that out.
Okay.
But getting that word of mouth out, and then you could also now say that you have a big time YouTuber that won the first annual. Who could beat him, right?
Where is the big time YouTuber that won the first annual?
Thank you, Freddie. Thank you so much.
I am not a big time YouTuber. So.
Huge. It's like one of the biggest in the YouTube game.
Yeah, no.
Huge.
I did have, there's a lot of people that only bank fish, and that was brought to my attention very early on that the bank fishermen want to have a tournament too. And that's a little harder for me to try to put together, as far as you can't really keep fish alive. You can't. And I'm not against people eating fish. I eat a little bit of fish myself.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something I've been thinking about a lot, and I've not found a good way to put that together.
It would be. I can see where it would be difficult to. Everybody's got their own bank fishing spot all over that lake that they're comfortable with, that they're confident in, and that goes into, if you're going to have a central weigh-in area, then you're looking at trailering, the equivalent of. You're looking at throwing these fish into the bed of the truck and racing them back to.
Yeah,
and I will say, you could take just about it. You could take every channel cat you catch out of Wren Lake and not put a dent in the population on that lake. That lake is a catfish factory, but still, we're all out. That's a resource that is limited, and there's a lot of big fish caught out of Wren every year that don't make it back in the water. There's a lot of big fish taken out, and that's why you don't catch many out of that lake anymore.
I would really like to see some regulations on flatheads. I don't know how to, put that together, but I would really like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Every year at the spawn, they take so many out of there, hogging. It's unreal.
Oh, it's crazy.
Man, just for the future. I mean, them fish are probably 20 years old. But
Parker's got a good. Let me get that pulled up. Parker said maybe do a measurement system for bank fishing tournaments, so instant release. Yeah, you'll have somebody get you'd have to have. Well, some of those apps will take, and I'm, nowhere near as versed in it as somebody like, I think Ryan Bortz does a lot of those.
Kayak guys.
That reminds me, I'm in the October King Cat, and I haven't got the fish yet. I'm in the championship.
And you've got to have. They give you that list of the certified boards that you could use, and it's all on length.
Yeah.
Parker, welcome.
That would be something to look into. I
Do
have
that like
seen
a
those Facebook tournaments and stuff where they just do your lengths and girth and the measurements. I think they take a picture of the fish with the tape on it.
Yeah, usually they have that in like a little code. Everybody's got an individual code or something. So
Yeah.
That's the way we do it. They do it on the ones like you're talking about that Ryan and I have gotten into a little bit this past year. Is every month, right at the very start of it, the tournament organizer sends everybody the code for the month, and you have to take a picture of it with a certified board that they approve of. So you may, you could take something off that. You could have every angler has their own unique something, whatever. I don't know. There's definitely different ways to do something like that.
Tim Molina said we recently did a tournament on Facebook. Whenever somebody was hooked up, they would go live, weigh it live, and release it.
There you go.
That's the alternative there. And
Kayak Mike is the one that runs the ones that we're talking about, the catfish tournaments on the fishing chaos app. So
okay, I was going to ask. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
ChadShack.com.
He made up a bunch of these for me. This is the only one I have left. I could probably look into having some more made, though.
Yeah.
They work really well.
I'm thinking you need to bring that to Mendota next year. And
I don't know. It looked like it was made by Acme to me. Those numbers looked a little bit like,
Bring that to Mendota, and when we can measure, we get an accurate measurement on Dockery.
He's not.
I don't know. I don't know if he'd fit on that board.
Curled up behind his head. Yeah, Freddie Outdoor Adventure says Kayak Mike can help with your measurement stuff, and that's a great thing because he runs a lot of measurement tournaments. But in kayaks, let's face it, it's just about got to be measurement because how many of them kayaks are made that you can actually stand up in a way a big fish?
Yeah, well, what was it? Biggest loser this year? Who was it that had a 60 in there? I feel bad. Green Machine, Dan.
Yeah, he's another good one.
Caught a 60 during my live Uncle Lou's Biggest Loser tournament back in April, and I told him, I said, I asked him, I said, are you going to go to the bank and weigh that, or how are you going to do it? He's like, nope. And he stood up right there in the kayak holding that fish up, and I said, man, you're braver than I am. I'd be going swimming.
No, he does one like triathlons and decathlons and
true. He's got some balance to him, so
he's got a little bit of balance.
Brian B was talking about that board. I think he likes it.
I'll look into having some more of those made.
Yeah,
we give a few of them away, and people bought some, and they're fun. That's the only one I have left. I actually have a different one. Mine's aluminum, and I forgot the maker of it. It's out in the boat. It's 40 inches long or something like that, and it's got a bend up on the end of it. It's an official one they use for a lot of tournaments. It's the best one I've ever seen, and I bought it. It stays in my boat, but I could bring it in next week and have it in here. But it works out really good, and tape measures and stuff are not very accurate because catfish, especially because you can't get right to the nose. And I see guys try to measure catfish from the tail forward. You can't do that. You got to measure them from their nose to the tail, not from the tail, because the tail will move. The other thing you can't do is lay them down on their side. You have to lay them on your stomach to get an accurate length reading or girth reading because of their pectoral fins.
Freddie's Outdoor Adventures. Make sure you post that picture to the Catfish Weekly Facebook group and say, Lyle, I need a 50-pound club sticker.
And message me your shipping address.
And then message me your shipping address. That also helps.
Now, Freddie knows how to send pictures. He sent me one a minute ago.
What was a picture, not an emoji?
No, he sent me a picture. He's eating a hooey gooey bar. So
Nice. I don't know
I
what
got
that is.
to. Sent him an angry face. I'm done. Okay, I'm back.
let's see here. Some of the higher cash pots on bass fishing tournaments is official per boat. CPR to the fullest. The official records the fish, a quick pick, and right back in the water. Having officials on boats, I think you're going to start seeing more of that now.
The only problem with that is you can't get them to do it for free forever. You're eventually going to have to start paying them, and that's where it costs a lot of money. We already had one crook running an organization trying to get in the catfishing world, get going now, but it takes a lot of money to do them like that. So you got to find somebody honest to have an organization to do that correctly, where the money goes where it's supposed to be going.
And something like that, you're also looking at more of maybe your major tournaments that do that. These local club tournaments that only you can get 10, 20 boats, they're not going to be able to afford to pay people because
you can't afford that. And at some point on that level, you reach a point where the honor system doesn't work anymore. When you
start with people want to do something wrong. If you don't give them the option to do something wrong, you're just ahead of the game. That's all.
Yeah. Picking my avatar missed the 50 pounds by an 8-ounce weight.
Oh wow. That's still bad. I'm going to count it. If it was that close, I'm going to count it as a 50.
So Josh, how big was that flathead you were holding in the thumbnail picture I used?
I believe 28.
28?
That's kind of my going average in Ren Lake. I know there's bigger ones there, but I catch a lot in the 20s.
Nice. I have yet to catch one on that lake.
They're there. I struggled this year, but they are there.
I've seen plenty of pictures of them, but
I went the other day with a buddy. It wasn't on Ren Lake. It was more city limits, but I caught a 15-pound channel cat flathead fishing the other day.
Very nice.
And I was there solely to try to catch a flathead, and I thought I'd done it. And it was good, my biggest channel cat I've ever caught, but I was pretty proud of that. But they catch 60 and 70-pound flathead a lot. I mean, they're there. I'm waiting for the day I hook one on a rod and reel.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I know a lot of folks go up there hogging and pulling them out, but
I didn't know that was legal in Illinois.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's illegal. Missouri tried it for 1 year.
Noodling.
Yeah.
Nope.
We call it hogging around here, but I mean, it's.
I don't care what you call it. I ain't doing it.
Missouri tried it 1 year, and the numbers was staggering.
Calling me nutty.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I say I didn't do it when I was young and dumb. But
even when I was young and dumb, I was not putting my hand and getting fingers nipped off by a snapping turtle. That is exactly what would happen to me.
That was the last time I ever did it, because we used to go out there and do that, and my grandma would always get on to me. She'd say, "One of these days you're going to get snapping turtle." She goes, "You're going to get a hold of snapping turtle or a snake underneath one of those things." Okay, yeah.
I don't want to be rather hit by a snake than a snapping turtle.
So I'm down there. I'm shoulder deep. My neck's just barely above the water, and I'm messing around. And I looked over, and 20 yards away is the biggest snapping turtle I ever seen in my life. But it clicked in my head that day, and I can't see where my fingers are. And I pulled my hand out, and I have never been able to do that again. I said, "Nope, I can't." No, something clicked with me. Here's your one chance. I'm going to show you this turtle before I let this turtle bite you.
A lot of people go underneath slabs of concrete.
Yeah.
And one of them slabs shifts or rolls on you, you're done right there.
You're done. Yeah.
I can't get over that. That's
and you know what? And now, and you know, I will say there's probably more of them that are considerate than inconsiderate, but the inconsiderate ones are the ones that get your attention. We were up at the Waltonville Dam one day, bank fishing. Had some noodlers come walking down. We've got our lines out. They're like, "Oh, we'll see if we can stir one up for you." They're standing right in front of where we're fishing, down there, reaching down in the rocks and stuff. I was like, "Yeah, this ain't going to work."
That wouldn't have been.
There were some words exchanged, and I tried to hook me a person that day.
yeah. It's what you got to do sometimes.
Parker said he used to do it. Was bit by a water snake.
Like I say,
eye-opening experience of how shallow the cats will spawn. That's the truth.
I seen what a beaver done to a guy one time doing that, and it beat him half to death.
Think about them.
Well, they underneath the water, they chew you with, but that tail, once that tail gets above water, you ain't never seen anybody take a whooping till you seen somebody beat with the tail of a beaver. I mean, he was hurting bad.
I want to see the crazy people down here in South Carolina. Paul Meadow was saying they call it.
Yeah, he said it's playing with death. Yeah,
playing with death around there.
You get alligator down there.
That's definitely somewhere you wouldn't go noodling.
No.
We won't be seeing the noodling show on Palmetto Cats anytime soon, I'm guessing. So,
hey, how big do you want to make it, Kevin?
Kevin, you hog out an alligator.
How big of a boy is he?
Hog out a gator, Kevin. It'll go viral.
Ain't no doubt about that. Yeah, I've never understood that whole noodling stuff.
No.
Like, you won't see me putting it down into the steak pit layer or the giant snapping turtle that's got a head that's bigger than my fist, and that's pretty daggone big. Yeah. I don't know why you all keep giving me solo layout, putting my face up in everybody's face.
When I type in and it doesn't let me type and I hit enter, I think that's what's doing that.
Oh, you need something said?
No.
I have a question for you guys.
Go right
What
ahead.
is your opinion on the fish limit in tournaments? Like I did a 5 fish limit. But you guys probably fish more rivers and stuff. And how is that different? I mean, you're bigger fish, and what do they normally do?
3 fish.
3?
I've got to say, I'm liking the 3 fish thing. I like 5 fish. I like 5 fish limits. I like seeing the weights on a 5 fish bag, because that's where you get the huge weights. But
you're fine on channel cat tournaments.
They would be, yes. I mean, we fished this as we would a channel cat tournament. We had no intention of targeting a flathead that day when we were out. And I told Christina, I said, if we screw up, I said, today would be the day we screw up and get a big old flathead out of here. My live well, I've got a 20-foot boat. My live well will not support a fish much bigger than about 20 pounds. He is not going to physically fit into that front live well. I was like, we're going to have to come up with a creative way of getting him in there. I said, or we're going to have to smile, take a picture of him and turn him loose. But out there on the rivers and stuff where you're looking into bigger cats, 3 fish is plenty. I mean, they just did a 3 fish limit tournament, launched out of Cape a few weeks ago, and the winning bag was almost 150 pounds on 3 fish.
There's not a whole lot of boats from the factory that can handle 3 fish to weigh 150 pounds and safely keep them alive for 6 or 8 hours.
Oh, there was a comment earlier I highlighted. We didn't get to touch on it, but somebody was talking about truck toolbox live wells. And that's what we run in the Bayliner. That's what we and I've got a smaller one that I could throw in between the seats on the Champion if we're fishing a river tournament. I wouldn't want to put 5 30-pound fit. One, they wouldn't fit. If I could get them to fit, I don't know that they wouldn't like it, and I don't know that they would be too healthy at the end of the day, especially if it was hot.
I have a truck live well in my backyard that I'm going to sell that has an inlet that sprays out to where it'll make circulation in it.
Mm-hmm.
It has a pump to pump water out of it. And it also has an overflow so you can't overflow
it.
Yeah.
That's what I wish mine had, was an overflow.
That's easy to do.
Because I have overflowed mine.
Yeah, I've kept the switch on, and before I put that in there, and it just starts running out the lid, and you look in the bottom of the boat, and where'd all this water come from? Well, dummy, you turned the live well pump on, and it didn't shut it off. So,
yeah, I think I'm with you guys. 5 is, like you said, it gets people weight, but it is so much easier. You know, we went out to Wiley a couple of years ago, and it was a two fish limit. You know, it depends on what you're fishing for as well.
I don't like those either.
But 2 to 3 fish. You know, we had two that were about 40 pounds apiece in that 65-gallon live well that we had on my boat. And you know, obviously, the more fish you have in it, the more oxygen they're eating up. So those 2 fish fit really well in there, and they did. You know, they had a little bit of room, but not a whole lot. I could have added more fish to that, and felt really comfortable with them. So I think something like that, like you're all talking about, the 3 fish would probably be a good limit on a bigger fish tournament.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing like channel cats, I could see holding 5 channel cats.
Oh, absolutely.
Dieter used to tell me about them 2 fish tournaments. I said, Dieter, anybody can get in that tournament and trip on 1 fish. There's a percentage of them that's going to get in there and trip on 2. But nobody's going to trip on 3.
No, you're not going to trip on 3 of them.
You're just not going to. And that's my feeling about it. And besides that, they was trying to get me to drive out there 14 hours. I'm not driving 14 hours for a fish limit tournament.
Well,
it's never going to happen.
Something to think about too, though, is you get people out there that may be fishing by their lonesome, right? Or some people that fish 2 and sometimes fish 3 in a boat. Depending on your state law, and I would definitely agree with maxing it no more than 3. But depending on state law, like the state of Ohio, who has a 2 fish fishing rod limit, that puts makes it, like you're just talking about, tripping over some of the bigger fish, makes it a little bit easier when you have that many, that kind of advantage.
Yeah.
Going out there, you have 6 poles to one person's 2.
Yeah. How many rods can you run in Kentucky, Chad?
We're unlimited.
Yeah, I think that's wrong too.
Now, see, I'll disagree with you unless it comes to a tournament. Then I would agree with you, where a rod limit I think would be good.
I like rod limit. I like rod limit in a tournament, and that's
you should. Why do you want your boat to look like a porcupine?
What does it hurt?
Who wants to catch that much friggin' bait?
Me.
What it hurts is
it's
the
price of chicken being what it is.
United States, they could make that rule to where it's 1, 2, 5, 10, whatever the number is. Pick a number.
Yeah, but our luck
in every state.
Our luck, it's going to be these guys in state that makes it a freaking determination. We're going to be allowed to have 1 damn rod. We don't want that.
No, you can't do that. That's for Luke only.
Yeah. Luke deserves to have only 1 rod.
But yeah, I don't agree with that either. We have 3, except on the Mississippi River where it's 2. But you can put your conservation number or your name and address on your rod, and then you can use up to 33 hooks. Well, that's basically what you got. You might as well be fishing a trot line out of the back of your friggin' boat.
Hey, if I'm doing it legally,
rod limit on it. Call it a day. Be a fisherman, not a wannabe.
Anyway. You jerk.
I did have.
That's right, Mike Greenwell.
I did have 1 complaint during my tournament, and that was they didn't think we could do flathead and channel cat together, and they said that a few people didn't come because of that.
Why?
And that I felt the same way about it. I ended up making a Facebook post, and there's no reason to shy away from a tournament because of a flathead. If a guy wants to spend all day and try to catch a flathead and he catches one, he deserves it because
yeah, I mean, that's one heck of a gamble.
Yeah,
it is. But I've caught as many in the daytime as I have at night.
yes.
But
If you're in structure and you got live bait and there's one in there, all it's got to do is make that sucker mad once. That's all it takes.
I mean, I think, did you say at any time it was a channel cat tournament or a flathead only tournament? You said it was a catfish tournament. So you know that being a part of that lake fishery, you know both of them are in there. You know there's a chance that Josh goes out and catches 23.5 pounds and all his fish, and one guy come out and could have came in with one fish that weighed 35, 40 pounds. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, you've got to. You normally don't just stumble on a flathead by accident. You got to be looking for them. You got to want them. Occasionally it happens, but I'm all for anybody that wants to go out there and spend their day looking. So that was the only complaint I received. I'd kind of forgot about that, but
the easy way to fix that is make them channel cat tournaments or flathead tournaments, but you shouldn't have to do that. And especially if you're only getting one complaint. For one complaint, you can't please everybody, and I just take that and write it up. And if they want to fish it, they'll fish it. If they don't, then somebody take their place.
You make a good point. You said you had 13 boats?
Yes.
I mean, if all 13 of them were saying the same thing to you, take it as constructive feedback and say, you know what, this is something we changed.
Yeah.
When you have one negative naysayer out of, I don't care how many boats it is, maybe it's a thought to think about. Maybe changing it up. Maybe you have a catfishing tournament. Maybe during the summertime you have a flathead tournament. Maybe in the springtime you have a channel cat tournament. Take it as a grain of salt. You're always going to have people trying to give you advice, as we would say. Some people just be downright negative about it.
I have decided, Chadwick.
I'm awesome, I know.
That the reason you want to use chicken is you can't find that much bait, so you're using 20 poles. So you go out there and you buy you a bunch of chicken, take up the slack for all the shad skipjack you don't have. And
that's why chicken is expensive now.
That's right. The Bellhorn has drove the price up so high nobody can afford chicken.
I don't think the last time that I used chicken is in the 1v1 that I destroyed Larry from 3+1 with his own rules. And yes, I caught a fish on bacon that day.
I've tried it. I've never had a bite on bacon.
I haven't tried bacon. I like to eat it too well.
I like to eat it too much too, but we had some go bad in the fridge one day, and I'm like, well, I was going fishing anyway, so I was like, well,
that's what happened with that one.
I said, this can go in the trash, or I could put it on a hook. I'll try it on a hook.
We'll try it.
The fish didn't like bad bacon either.
It was right on the verge of turning when I used it. I forgot that I had thawed it out, and it had been pushed to the back of the refrigerator behind some stuff. And I was looking because, we had to buy a store-bought bait type deal. And I was like, hey.
Have you ever priced bacon recently?
Yeah, I just bought like 2 pounds or a pound and a half. It was like $18.
I'll be right back.
Thanks for the warning.
Ryan, I should have.
You should have used it against me and gave Lyle some too. Now, if I ever face off against Lyle, I'm going to be just use nothing but shrimp, just so he knows that all the shrimp are being wasted and going down to the bottom of the river.
We've used shrimp, never caught anything just like chicken. Never caught
channel cats. That's the only thing I've ever caught on shrimp.
Something else we tried one time was shrimp juice or something.
Cocktail sauce.
Clam juice?
No, clam juice.
Really?
Tried that.
Soak chicken in it.
Huh?
I say you could soak chicken in it.
I would think that have to make the chicken taste better. Anything make it. I'm not a fan of chicken.
I'm not a chicken fan anyway. But
something like that could probably inject chicken. I think I've told everybody about this. I've got a gallon of skipjack oil in a garage.
I know I've been trying to talk you out of that. I thought of
inject
all the
that
cool
in some
things I
chicken.
could
At
do
least
with
you'd
that.
have some fishy chicken.
Turkey baster and that gallon of skipjack oil and Chad's cabin air filter on his truck and just
Oh, buddy, that'd be like running his trolling
I'm
motor.
bringing my cameras for the house to Mendota next year to see. Sit there and watch the alerts.
Those nasty canned oysters work good for
Ooh.
bait. I never tried oysters. I like them too well.
Oysters are good, but I never had the guts to try a canned oyster.
Mm-mm.
I like them.
How does bacon go back? It got shuffled to the back of the fridge and got forgotten about. That's how.
That's exactly what happened.
Clam juice and bait. Oh my God, it stinks so bad after a day or two. I'm sure that's right. I am sure that's right.
Yeah.
Uncle Jeep says, "What the heck? Unsubscribe from
Yeah,
Jeep."
I put in chat. Blame 3+1, Uncle Jeep, not me.
Yeah.
I was forced into those rules. I was forced to sing every time he caught a fish, which thankfully didn't happen. And, well, it did happen one time.
Yeah,
he had to sing, I think, 8 or 9 times, 7. I don't remember.
Danny, I like
that is somebody I will take Danny's word when it comes to food.
Yeah, Danny, I like the canned oysters and put them in a pan, fry them up a little bit, and Cindy makes oyster soup for me and fill a bowl full of crackers with that in there. Man, I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Never had them.
Yeah,
I like those things fresh and raw. So
I've not had them that way. I had the opportunity a time or two and couldn't do it, but I'd try it next time.
Can't smell as bad as when Fuller leaves chicken liver in the car.
Is there a story behind that, Josh?
Yeah, Josh, tell us the story about this one.
Well, about 10 years ago, I liked fishing with chicken liver. And, well, you do it enough, you're going to forget a can somewhere.
Oh, no.
Been there, done.
Not good in the summer. That's one of them bank fishing baits that was just easy to get.
Yeah, I used to use it all the time.
I don't like getting it on my hands anymore. I don't have any desire to touch the stuff.
I like chicken livers too much fried, so
I do too.
Those
I
are
like
good.
gizzards. I don't care for livers, but I like gizzards.
Now we know why.
Ain't bad either.
Yeah, I can't. I've never had gizzards where I could chew them up. It's always tough. But it could have been the people that was, making them. I don't know, but I like livers. And the ones they used to have at Kentucky Fried was really, really good. But they don't have them at all.
Nope, they took those off the menu.
That's too bad.
I use beef liver for catching bullhead still. I use bullhead for bait for flathead. That beef liver, they just tear it up. It stays on the hook. That's
really.
We don't get good beef liver anymore. I used to use beef liver all the time 20 years ago. Now every time you buy it, you go to cut it, or it just shreds apart so easy. It ain't funny. I don't know what they've done.
I have to put it on the hook frozen, keep it frozen, and put it on there while it's froze, and that's the only chance you've got. Because if it's thawed, it will not go on.
Go to your local locker plant and get a fresh one. See if that'd change it.
Yeah.
It is deer season. It kind of makes me wonder on like a deer liver or something.
Don't know why that wouldn't work. I would think it'd work.
I know a lot of guys that use deer heart on trout lines, and they say it works. I've never tried it.
I mean, being worth the shot, that's something I'm going to throw in the gut pile anyway. So
anything that's bloody, I would think they would eat.
Worm container.
Actually, I love the truck.
We
channel.
always end up on the food topic every week. We're talking smoked oysters on a Ritz, 3 drops. That's nowhere near enough Tabasco.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Gotta have more Tabasco than that.
Mark Byram, I'm not doing that. I got suckered into that once.
Nope.
Again.
No mountain oysters. No.
Now, I get them about this close to my mouth, and my hand just won't put it in there.
Say that again, Lyle.
I said I can get that fork about this close to my mouth. My hand won't shove it. I got tricked into eating one of them one time, and actually it was pretty good. But my God, I got deathly sick when I found out what was going on. Holy crap!
Can you say it one more time?
No.
Oh wow!
I was just crying.
Oh wow! We have got.
Oh, okay. Let's reel it in.
That got out of hand in a hurry.
Josh will never come back on here with us again.
Josh is sitting there going, "What did they get talked into?"
He's sitting there thinking how he's going to disqualify you from the next tournament.
I know. I'm not allowed.
I just got to figure out how to find the weights.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah,
That-
killed me.
That really is something I hope I never have to deal with. Somebody cheating.
So,
Yeah.
what's your thought method if that ever does happen now that you're starting to get into doing this? How do you handle it?
Well, you have to disqualify them. It's not fair to anybody else. But you have to have proof. You know, if you have proof, it's as easy as that. But, you know, to have somebody just accusing somebody else, that would be a little tougher. It's just something I'm sure I will eventually deal with, but I hope I don't. I'm just trying everybody to have fun. Honest people, honest fishing. It should be nothing more than that. I hate to even see it be about money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to me, it's just about getting to go fishing. It's a reason to go fishing. You pay a little extra money to go fishing.
Yep.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Everybody has a phone these days, and every phone has a camera on it.
Mm-hmm.
And every camera phone will do video. If they are over the line next to a dam, take a picture, take a video.
Yep.
If they are doing something wrong, take a picture, take a video. Have proof before you accuse somebody, because it'll turn around and bite you in the keister if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good night, Chrissy. Prayers for Ernie tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Hope everything goes well.
Yeah, we sure do.
Now, in the walleye tournament, that guy had to deal with a lot more than just cheaters. A lot of people wanted to beat them up,
Hey, we're
Well,
ready.
you know. And
that would
so,
have been the wrong thing to happen for sure.
yeah, so he had to also, I noticed in the video, he said, I don't want anything to happen to these guys, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would be the same way because I'd want them prosecuted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
as far as I
is-
know, they did get prosecuted, didn't they?
Yeah, if they're supposed to. I don't know.
They're pending. It's as far as I know, it's still pending investigation. But
Yeah.
If nothing else, they ruined their life.
they
I mean,
ruined their name. I mean,
As far as fishing goes, they are done.
you know,
Yeah.
I know people who don't fish. They don't have any interest in fishing. They don't know anything about fishing. And they're, hey, what do you think about these guys with the walleyes?
Mm-hmm.
TMZ, who reports on celebrities and celebrity gossip.
They've
Covered.
never reported on me yet, though.
It was
Covered.
on Fox News, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. You had Fox News, you had TMZ. You know, it made the AP wire. And, you know, like it or not, it put a black eye on every single fishing tournament for a little while.
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They have been arrested now. Okay.
Oh, they
That's good.
have. I hadn't heard that.
I hadn't either.
But yeah, from my understanding, that the amount of money, it was definitely a felony offense. So
They've
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
estimated
anything
They estimated
About 30.
they won over $400,000 in the last 3 years in cash and prizes.
Mm-hmm. And you know that this caused a nightmare for the PR people at their sponsors. Because
I can imagine.
the other day on a whim, I checked out Ranger Boats on Facebook. I went to the comments section, and it's nothing but, you know, hey, how many walleye sinkers can you fit in and everything. And that's something that these sponsors are going to have to deal with
for
Yeah.
a long
time. And unfortunately for everybody else, that makes it that much hard for them to sponsor somebody.
Yep.
You know, if that's something you're interested in, if that's something you're wanting to do is go out and get sponsored by a corporation, they just made it that much harder to get sponsored. No, I'm not interested in that. I'm not trying to do that, but
a lot of people are.
A lot of people are.
And it makes it harder for guys like Josh to get sponsors for his tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me if I was still sponsoring tournaments. What they done wouldn't bother me, but it will a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
It will bother a lot of sponsorship.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but the way that tournament director has handled how he handled that situation,
You done a good job.
He did a really good job.
he did a great job.
Yeah.
Me as a sponsor, I would look to somebody like that that is going to
Absolutely.
uphold,
Mhm.
you know, integrity in the sport.
That's
Personally,
exactly right.
you know.
So, like I say, there's a couple of them sponsors that was on there on them guys' shirts that they deserve what they're getting, but for different reasons. So
There is a pattern there, Chad. You have accused Brian and Parker, and you know, just there's probably a few more I haven't figured out, but
yeah, several of you all are on Team Walleye.
they've won 2 boats, as far as I know. They won one year and won another year.
Yeah, and a truck.
And a truck, yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, $400,000 in 3 years is the estimate.
Won a boat, sold it, and split the money. Yep. They said there's like $300,000 or $400,000 that they've won over the past couple of years. So
So and whatever they get for doing this when it goes through the court system will not be enough.
no.
It won't be enough, because you got to make the punishment fit the crime. And as big as this is blowed up, and as much as it's got, they're fine. Their punishment should be way up at the top,
Mhm.
way up there.
I
That
hope
way, won't nobody else want to try it.
I hope both of them took every bit of that $400,000 and invested it in Bitcoin when it was $69,000, and they have to sell it right now.
Well, they're probably going to have to sell it to.
They're going to be paying money back for the rest of their lives.
Oh
so.
yeah, absolutely will. That's good. We got to make examples of the people.
Let's see here.
We can make them swim back. But yeah.
If them full of weights and make them swim back to shore.
We still got almost 70 people in. And
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button. Looks like the thumbs ups are really going up tonight. So
That's awesome. Appreciate it very much. If you haven't subscribed, we'd appreciate it if you did. And there is a join button. And like I say, we're going to be doing some giveaways for membership only. So if you're interested in something like that, be sure to join the group.
I have wondered what is the benefits of the membership. What is different?
Different perks that you get from depend on which ones you join up for. And I don't have the list right here. And Ben's, I got more than one. I can't remember them all. But yeah, you just have to. You can click on it. You don't have to join if you don't want to, but it'll tell you in there what the perks are. And we're going to be upgrading that before long. Like I say, we're going to do some giveaways for memberships only. That way that people actually get something out of being a member.
Yeah, memberships there's lots of different things. You know, one is to show it support for the channel. that you're watching. You know, put in a lot of work and time and all that kind of stuff into putting on shows and stuff like that. So one, that's part of it. And the other, like Lyle said, is you know, there are occasional giveaways that are members only. Some content that comes out early where members get to watch it first. You know, I know Josh does something where when he puts on a tournament, people that have a membership to a channel, like I get in automatically, or get a extra spot in the wheel, or
they get an extra spot in the wheel. Each channel could set what they want for their perks, and that's one of the ones that I did when I set mine up was with the online tournaments. Sometimes you'll get a lot of people signing up for those at one time, and we have to go because we've got limited spots on StreamYard that we can get people in. I added one that does if you're a member to my channel, you get 2 spots on the wheel instead of 1. So it doubles your chances of getting into the online tournament. You know, there's some people that really like the online tournaments, but sometimes you get pictures of Chad.
And the bonus.
Oh, wow.
As if you get Dockery.
You know what? I might offer that as my memberships. Some 8x10, you know, profile pics, autograph.
I could use that. It's getting ready to be the cold season. I'll put that in the attic, keep the mice out.
Josh, it's been a pleasure having you on here tonight.
You broke his little heart.
Truly, you've given us some great insight to starting that stuff up. There's a lot of things I wouldn't have never thought about. I've heard about having a permit, but sometimes there's multiple permits, there's insurance, scales, all that kind of stuff. I thought it was a really good conversation tonight.
It is
about all that.
Absolutely.
And Josh, thanks for coming on here tonight, and definitely, you know, I'll keep an eye on the group. But you know, let me know whenever you're getting ready for next tournament. We'll be happy to get the information out here on Catfish Weekly, and we've got the link to the Red Lake Catfishing group on Facebook in the description of the video. So after the show, anybody wants to check that out, go over and check it out. Josh runs a good, clean group, bunch of people that are, you know, it's geared towards Ren Lake, but people are discussing catfish techniques and baits and everything. So, I mean, it's something that would help somebody on their home water as well. So,
and we'll be happy to announce your results if you send them to somebody.
Okay, I will make sure to do that.
I would like to thank Van with V3 Customs. He is a 6-month membership member. Chrissy Brown was on there a while ago, and I forgot how many months she was on there. Brian B, 4 months. Danny Stone, 10 months. Thank you guys. We appreciate it so very much.
You guys got a lot of catching up to do because that Fishing with the Chad guy has 18 months, so you have to catch up to him.
I think that's what Chrissy was.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yep, I believe so. It was close to it if it wasn't 18.
Yeah, it was real close. She's been there a long time.
Yeah. Josh, anything you'd like to add that we haven't covered tonight about tournaments and all that kind of stuff, or Ren Lake, or what you found out about Josh during the tournament?
Well,
he found out I know how to rip my pants.
Yeah, he did. He did rip his pants. That blowout. It was a good one too. It wasn't one you could hide.
No, it wasn't. You just gotta own it at that point.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. Had a good time. I said all I wanted to do is see it grow. I'm sure you guys have never been to Ren Lake. Ren Lake is an excellent channel cat lake.
Great crappie lake too.
Yeah. The crappie are getting ready to turn on. They're getting close.
Got a lot of bacon, if I remember correctly, in it too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's a good lake. It draws a lot of attention. But catfish, you just don't see a lot of catfish tournaments.
Look who finally made it in, Josh.
I know, right? Uncle Lou has joined us. Uncle Lou, thank you so much. I got my package in the mail today. Appreciate that very much.
Uncle Lou, I didn't get no packages in the mail today.
I got my brand new hat today. among other things?
I would actually like to see, some of the other tournament trails, like the Cabela King Cat goes to Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see somebody else to come to Rend Lake. Yeah, I'd like to participate.
Oh, definitely.
And it's like Keith said earlier, it's hard to run it and participate. You could, but you're going to lose a couple hours of fishing, spend the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I like fishing them too. So I hope somebody else brings one to the lake at some point. At least comes through with a trail or something. And there is the tournament at Vandalia I told you about. That's this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
May look into it. I'll be there.
We might have to make a drive up there and check that out if we can. So
I'll try to send you the invite for it after I get off here, and you can check it out.
Oh, good deal. I appreciate that.
But that's all I've got.
All right.
So
I was trying to find. I'll just type it out. There we go. All right. Well,
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Now I'm opening freaking TikTok.
No, that was some time back, I guess.
There we go. What'd you see?
Tournament results.
Oh, were there some in there?
I sent you.
One that you sent me.
Yeah, somebody did send me some, and I'm looking for them now. I just happen to remember that.
Okay.
But I'm looking for them. I don't know if I can find them or not. I don't remember who it was or where they sent them. I've got so many message things and.
Hey,
thank you, Crappy.
I got a message from Dockery.
I got one from Dockery. It's not appropriate to read.
Yeah, that's the way mine is, but yeah.
Here, Crappie Day Fish On with the super chat. So thank you for this, family. Big hugs. Thank you, Crappie Day. We appreciate that.
29th.
Uncle Lou says his channel cats are slowing down.
It was Central Missouri Catfish Tournament, October 8th. Fifth place was Brian Saunders, John Spataford, Jason Schneiderhan with 20.1 pounds. Fourth place with 54.4 pounds was Chris Berlarski and Jeff Schultz. Third place with 57.4 pounds was Chris Berengar and Troy Phillips. Troy Phillips is a catfishing machine. Second place was 68.1 pounds and also big fish of 9.5 pounds with Joe Bell, David Burtz, and Nelly. And first place was Craig Shoemate and Gary Taylor. This, let's see, where was it held at? It was at Kaufman Beach, which is Franklin Island, over on the Missouri River. So that's pretty tough. That's pretty good weight for first place, but some of them other weights for the Missouri River, that's a little slack. Mm-hmm. But, I understand it's way down too, so I don't know. But anyhow, congratulations to all the winners. I guess they had to delay it for 30 minutes on account of heavy fog at the beginning. They had 19 boats. So I knew there was one someplace. I've been searching for it the whole time, and there it is. So we got it out.
There we go. That was some good weights for that tournament.
That's good for first place, yeah.
Yeah, very good. All right, well, gentlemen, Lyle, Josh, anything from you guys before we end tonight?
I think we're good tonight.
I'm trying to think, but I think I'm good. Other than want to make sure that we you join us for the bait shop on Thursday night, Crappie Day Fish On. Thank you so very much. And then we'll be doing Panfish Nation right after that, and of course we'll be back next Monday night.
And this Saturday morning, we're going to have day 3 of the Couples Catfish Showdown starting at 9 a.m. Eastern over on Fields to Water. And then Sunday, we will round it out with the last set of anglers for day 4. Right now, we've got some good numbers that have came in.
What is leading?
Overall, I think it's right now 16 total fish. Big fish is 18.8 pound blue cat, and a small fish of 0.28 maybe.
And that sounds right. It was like
Yeah.
quarter
Other than
pound.
the small fish, the rest of that's pretty doable. Yeah,
I plan on beating them all.
I bet you did.
You know my skills, I could do it because I'll have D in the boat.
Don't
Okay, well,
that beating yourself on the back, dude. Rick,
I always talk smack because I know I'm barely maybe going to get the top
please
20 of my own
remember that
tournament. So
with Catfish and Crappie podcast will not be on tonight. Something come up and he's not able to do his show, so that's why we're running on so long. Josh, thank you so much for being a part of our show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming in, Josh. Thank you.
Yep. Talk to you guys later.
Tonight and everything that went on, I hope you'll come back some.
We'd love to have you back on at some point. So
yeah, when you're running the nation's largest lake tournament, I hope you'll come back on and tell us how it's been, how the adventure's been. So
That's right.
We'll see what the future holds. I've met a lot of people in my short time of doing this, so we'll see what happens.
I wish you all the best, my friend.
Me too. Good luck, bud. And if I can help you with anything, let me know.
Yep.
Okay, I appreciate
If
it.
I can get Josh to help you with anything, let me know.
there we go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next week on Monday night. Same time, 9 p.m. God's time. That's 8 p.m. Little Ball of Satan Lyle time.
Wrong.
No.
Wrong. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central.
Yep. Have a great week, y'all.
Can't trust him at all.
Have a good night, everybody.
See y'all.